Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. So in today's video, what I'm going to be doing is picking my January TBR with my TBR jar. I'll pick 5 books and just see what they are. So anyway, let's get into the video. Just take the lid off. So the first book on my January TBR is this one. Just going to have a look. So the first book on my January TBR is Shadow and Bone by Leigh Bardugo. So this is the first one in a trilogy, and I've had it a while, I've just not got around to reading it yet. It says on the back, Alina Starkov is a soldier. When her regiment is attacked while crossing the Shadowfold, a swath of unnatural darkness crawling with monsters, Alina unleashes dormant magic not even she knew she possessed. Now Alina will enter a lavish world of royalty and intrigue as she trains with the Grisha, her country's magical military elite, and falls under the spell of their notorious leader, the Darkling. He believes Alina can summon a force capable of destroying the Shadowfold and reuniting their war-ravaged country, but only if she can master her untamed gift. But as Alina unlocks the secrets of her past, she will make a dangerous discovery that could threaten all she loves and the very future of a nation. So I have been getting a lot more into fantasy this year, and I want to continue that into next year. And I do like a fantasy when it's cold outside and you've got time to sit and read it in the warm. So this will be a nice one to start the year with, I think. So this is book 1. Book 2, I'm just going to have a look now. Just open it. So this one is Maybe in Another Life by Taylor Jenkins Reid. I will put the cover here because it is on my Kindle. So I've got the blurb up on my Kindle, and that says, at the age of 29, Hannah Martin still has no idea what she wants to do with her life. She has lived in 6 different cities and held countless jobs since graduating college. On the heels of leaving another city, Hannah moves back to her hometown of Los Angeles and takes up residence with her best friend Gabby. Shortly after, Hannah goes out to a bar one night with Gabby and meets up with her high school boyfriend Ethan. Just after midnight, Gabby asks Hannah if she's ready to go. A moment later, Ethan offers to give her a ride later if she wants to stay. Hannah hesitates. What happens if she leaves with Gabby? What happens if she leaves with Ethan? In concurrent storylines, Hannah lives out the effects of each decision. Quickly, these parallel universes develop into radically different stories with large-scale consequences for Hannah, as well as the people around her. As the 2 alternate realities run their course, Maybe in Another Life raises questions about fate and true love. Is anything meant to be? Is there such a thing as a soulmate? Hannah believes there is, and in both worlds, she's found him. So that one does sound like a bit of a romance one, but with a twist, and I do like Taylor Jenkins Reid books. Every one of hers I've read has been absolutely brilliant, so I will look forward to reading this one. It has been on my TBR for a while, so it's about time I got to it, to be honest. So yeah, that's book 2. So for book 3, I'm gonna pick this one, which is Good Material by Dolly Alderton. So I have the book here, and it says on the back, Andy loves Jen, Jen loved Andy, and he can't work out why she stopped. Now he is 1, without a home, 2, waiting for a stand-up career to take off, 3, wondering why everyone else around him seems to have grown up while he wasn't looking. Set adrift on the sea of heartbreak at a time when everything he thought he knew about women and flat sharing and his friendships had transformed beyond recognition. Andy clings to the idea of solving the puzzle of that broken relationship. Because if he can find the answer to that, then maybe Jen can find a way back to him. Andy still has a lot to learn, not least his ex-girlfriend side of the story. This one sounds a bit second chance romancy. I've not read a Dolly Alderton book yet, but I have heard really good things about her, so I'm excited to read this. It sounds quite interesting. It sounds like it's going to be one of those books that grips you and you can't put it down. So I'm really, really excited for that one. So that was book 3. Book 4, just got my little jar here. We've got this one, which again I've wanted to read for a while, but I've just not got around to it yet. It is Once Upon a Broken Heart by Stephanie Garber. Again, that one's on my Kindle, so I'm going to put the little cover here for you. This one is in the same world as the Caravel series, which I loved, so I'm expecting to love this series too. I think it focuses more on Jax though, but I'm really expecting to love it. So the blurb says, for as long as she can remember, Evangeline Fox has believed in happy ever after, until she learns that the love of her life is about to marry another and her dreams are shattered. Desperate to stop the wedding and heal her wounded heart, Evangeline strikes a deal with the charismatic but wicked Prince of Hearts. In exchange for his help, he asks for 3 kisses, to be given at the time and place of his choosing. But after Evangeline's first promise kiss, she learns that bargaining with an immortal is a dangerous game, and that the Prince of Hearts wants far more from her than she pledged. He has plans for Evangeline, plans that will end in the greatest happily ever after, or the most exquisite tragedy. So, by the sounds of it, Evangeline makes a deal with Jax, and it could go one of 2 ways. Like I say, I loved Caravel, so I'm really expecting to love this one too. I did like the character of Jax. I think the majority of people did. He was a really good character, so I'm really intrigued to read more into his story. So that one's going to be really good. And again, I love a fantasy book in the winter, so what better time to read it than now? So there's that one. And then for book 5, my final book of my January TBR, try this one. There's 2 there, put 1 back. And it is The Cloisters by Katie Hayes. Again, this one is on my Kindle, so I will put the cover there for you. I'm just loading the blurb up now. And the blurb says, The Secret History meets Ninth House. The discovery of a mysterious deck of tarot cards lays bare shocking secrets within a close-knit circle of researchers at New York's Framed Met Cloisters Museum. Anne Stillwell arrives in New York City, hoping to spend her summer working at the Metropolitan Museum of Art. Instead, she is assigned to the Cloisters, a Gothic museum and garden renowned for its collection of medieval and Renaissance art. Drawn into a small circle of charismatic but enigmatic researchers, and happy to indulge some of their more outlandish theories, including the museum's curator, who is fixated on tarot, and the real possibility of predicting the future. But when Anne discovers a mysterious, once-thought lost deck of 15th century Italian tarot cards, she finds herself at the centre of a dangerous game of power, toxic friendship, and ambition. And as the game being played within the cloisters spirals out of control, Anne must decide who she trusts. So this sounds really gothic-y and almost like it's got a horror element. This sounds like it's something I could really get into. I do like these sorts of dark, twisty books, and I like the whole idea of a Gothic museum and the tarot cards and stuff like that. So I think that's going to be a really fun one to read. I'm not entirely sure what to expect, but I think I'm going to love it, if that makes sense. Yeah, that'll be an interesting one, I think. So they are the 5 books I've picked for my January TBR. Just to recap, the books were Shadow and Bone by Leigh Bardugo, Maybe in Another Life by Taylor Jenkins Reid, Good Material by Dolly Alderton, Once Upon a Broken Heart by Stephanie Garber, and Cloisters by Katie Hayes. So I really hope you enjoyed today's video. If you did enjoy it, please like, comment and subscribe underneath, and I will see you all again next week.